Battlefield Hardline is the newest spin-off for the Battlefield franchise. Series creators DICE have handed the keys to Visceral Games, who previously worked on the critically acclaimed Dead Space. The most obvious change in Hardline is the focus on the war on crime instead of an actual war. Gone are the tanks and military bravado, replaced by handcuffs and duffel bags of cash. Visceral Games' pedigree for single-player focused games shines with one of the best Battlefield campaigns in years. Hardline tells the story of a young detective named Nick Mendoza and his more experienced partner Kai Min Dao as they investigate the source of a new street drug called Hotshot. The story is presented like a season of a TV show, with each level serving as an episode. There's even a Previously on Hardline bumper that plays every time you come back to the game.
Previously on Hardline.
Police!
Of course, more important to the plot and presentation is gameplay. For the most part, Hardline really succeeds. In most situations, it gives you a collection of tools such as a grappling hook or a zip line and lets you navigate the environment how you want.
Alright, so how you want to take this, man? There's a lot of Alpert's dudes down there.
Looks like there's a place to climb in on the left.
Okay, or we could crawl under that fence over there on the right.
Yeah, or we could take them head on.
What?
If you're up for that.
Man, you lead. I'll be right behind you.
Much of Hardline can be played as a stealth game, sneaking around, tagging enemies with your scanner, and pulling your badge on an isolated criminal causing him to surrender is even more satisfying than going into a situation guns blazing. The game rewards the careful and the quiet with a large collection of unlocks for taking people alive and collecting evidence. The only real downside to this unlock system is it's a little unbalanced. The unlocks are guns and attachments, but if you're arresting people, you don't really need the larger weapons. On the other hand, you can just shoot the place up, but then you probably won't be unlocking things very fast. The unlocks carry over through multiple playthroughs, so you could go stealthy your first playthrough, and then when you go on the harder difficulty, you have a whole arsenal of guns to play with. The only other real negative with the single-player campaign is that you can't skip the cutscenes even if you've seen them. I enjoyed the story, but on my second playthrough I really just wanted to get to it. Perhaps it's just masking some loading.
Car's over here.
The multiplayer fixes some issues that I had with Battlefield 4, but it does take away a few things that some may be sad to see go. First and foremost, I have not experienced a single issue with online play. None of the problems that plagued Battlefield 4's online are here. Maybe delaying your video game can be a good thing. Gameplay is mostly the same. 2 teams, 4 classes, objective-based game modes. Conquest returns, and with it is a handful of new game types. In Heist, a team of thieves must break into a safe and steal stacks of cash with a limited amount of lives as the cops try to stop them. Blood Money is something of a tug-of-war where both sides attempt to bring loot from the middle of the map to their own bases, while trying to defend their home turf from intruders. One time in a match, I had gotten shot, and when I respawned, my whole team was in one spot, standing in a circle. It took me a few seconds to realize that we weren't in our base, but rather the enemy base, robbing them blind. There are 2 different modes that Visceral calls their competitive modes, Crosshair and Rescue. Both are a 3-minute 5v5 game where one side must fight to protect or rescue a VIP. You only have 1 life in both game modes. You die, and it's over. Unfortunately, meaning that most matches devolve into one team wiping out the other instead of actually worrying about the objective. The real star of the show is Hotwire, a new mode similar to the classic Conquest, except that the points that you're trying to control are cars, and the only way to score points is going full speed. Nothing in Hardline is more exhilarating than flying down the road with 3 buddies hanging out your windows blasting at passing cars. The unlock system for the multiplayer has been streamlined, with guns and equipments being purchased with cash that you get from matches instead of having to level up classes. I do have to bring up that the change of focus away from the military means that there are no tanks or jets. They've been replaced with armored trucks and attack choppers. This might upset some, but hey, there was once a Battlefield that had mechs, so, they've changed things in the past. It'll be okay. Generally, I think the maps are pretty strong. Most of them are a good size with plenty of places to duck into to snipe or engage in close quarters combat while a greater battle rages around you. Unfortunately, one map sticks out to me as being particularly terrible. There's this one map in the swamps that's mostly just open wilderness, with no cover and nothing really interesting to look at. One last thing I'd like to talk about is Levolution, DICE's little buzzword they coined to describe the destruction in their games. Map destruction has played a big role in Battlefield multiplayer for a while now, but I can't help but notice that in the last few games this has been minimized, and now almost non-existent. Gone are the days of being able to level buildings or open up walls. Now there are a few very specific things per map, such as knocking over a crane or taking out a bridge. I'm assuming it has a lot to do with the evolution of the Frostbite engine. It just sucks that that particular aspect of Battlefield has regressed. Battlefield Hardline is a great entry into this long-running series, with a strong single player and some very fun multiplayer modes. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe, and I'll try to get more videos to you as soon as possible.